the time that they didn't. And first and goal, and the inside run for Gibbs, still going to the goal line. Number 4 on the night. A night to remember.
Super Wild Card Weekend. Get in this huddle with Kenny C on the Kenny C Show to preview it and give you guys my picks. Welcome back for those that are returning. Welcome to those that are watching for the first time. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to bring you energy. I'm going to bring you entertainment. And we're going to get through this thing together and give you picks and preview each and every game. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we got playoff football galore. When you're a football fan, and if you're fortunate enough to root for one of the 14 teams in this rodeo, this is what you wait for, baby. This is what gives you joy as a football fan. The thought of your team maybe making it to the promised land. The most unlikely path to emerge from would be the wild card round. We're going to get into it. So let's get into it.
Oh my goodness, what a play!
Let's get into the Saturday slate for crying out loud, shall we? Let's go, baby. Kicking things off. The first game of this 2025 playoffs for the NFL is the Houston Texans, the 4 seed, playing host to the 5 seed LA Chargers in Houston. 4:30. Harbaugh versus Ryans. Herbert versus Stroud. Who am I picking? I'm going with the Bolts, baby. I'm going with the Chargers because I think they have the coaching edge with Jim Harbaugh sporting a 5-3 record in the playoffs. He's been to the Super Bowl before with the 49ers. He's the first coach in NFL history to take 2 different teams to the promised land, to the playoffs, after they suffered a losing season the year prior. In his first season, he did it with the Niners in 2011, and now with the Chargers. They were an abysmal 5-12 last year. I think that he is going to have this group ready to go. Defensive coordinator Jesse Minter is the cream of the crop. What he's done with this defense has been phenomenal. And I think that's really where it comes down to. Generating pressure on the quarterback. The Houston Texans offensive line is horrific. 31st ranked in the NFL according to Pro Football Network. When you look at their sack rate when blitzed, 11.3%. They're 28th in pressures allowed. This does not bode well when you're going up against Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, Deion Henley. I think Morgan Fox is going to plug up those A-gaps. This is going to be a masterclass for the Chargers defense. If you ask me, I think that their offense is going to have no problems getting going, being as they were 11th in the league in points per game. Justin Herbert, 3,800 yards. 23 touchdowns to just 3 picks. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot by any stretch. Lad McConkey is an absolute stud for him. Rookie wide receiver out of Georgia. 1,000-yard season, 7 touchdowns. They're going to get it going. Quentin Johnston, J.K. Dobbins and the Gus Bus. I'm sure Harbaugh is going to get them going early and often. I think that the Chargers are going to take this one. You look at Justin Herbert a couple seasons ago in that horrific collapse against the Jaguars. He's going to be locked in. He wants to right the ship. He wants to get things going and get his playoff record back up to par and avenge himself and the entire team for that performance. I think the Chargers are going to take this thing. Next up, we got the Steelers. We got the Ravens in an AFC North clash at 8 p.m. The Ravens, the 3 seed, 12-5 against the Steelers, who were the 6 seed at 10-7. This is going to be Lamar's year to go after the Lombardi Trophy. He's got a 2-4 playoff record. I think that's a heavy weight on his shoulders. He wants to get out of the divisional round, and I think he's going to take down the Steelers with ease in this one. Week 16, they routed Pittsburgh 34-17. Pittsburgh limping into the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak, including that crucial game against Cincinnati. And on the Ravens side of things, they are red hot, flying high, 4-game winning streak. I think that in order to win this game with ease, you got to do what you did all season. You got to lean on Derrick Henry, Todd Monken, because you didn't do that last year, and you let Lamar lead the team in rushing yards when you should have relied on Justice Hill and the Gus Bus, but you didn't. You have a Hall of Fame running back. Lean on him early and often. Get Derrick Henry rumbling, and this will be a no-problem AOKW for the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar with an MVP caliber season, 41 touchdowns and 4 picks, 800-plus rushing yards, 4,000-plus passing yards. He has been an absolute problem and a specimen, having a historic season. Lamar will not slow down. He had 3 touchdowns and 207 yards the last time he played this Steelers team. And I think, quite frankly, the Steelers just don't have the firepower to keep up with the Ravens. Their best hope is that defense, which has been stout for the most part this entire year, and they do get after it, they do get after the quarterback, they're going to have to strongly contain Lamar Jackson. But the problem is, when you have to go up against both Lamar and a Hall of Fame caliber running back in Derrick Henry, with weapons in the passing game, I think it's just going to be too much. And Russ Wilson and that offense limping into this playoffs, they have not looked good by any stretch. I don't think it bodes well for them. I think the Ravens blow the doors off of this Pittsburgh team.
Oh my goodness, what a play!
And now for the Sunday side of things, because Sunday Fun Day, that's where football resides more often than not, and we have a full slate. We got 3 games, starting with the 1 p.m. battle between Bo Nix and Josh Allen, the 7 seed Denver Broncos, who took until the last week of the season. It took a win over the Chiefs to get in. They did so. They get in as the 7 seed. They will take on Josh Allen, who is determined to finally get to the Super Bowl as the 2 seed of the Buffalo Bills. Allen, the other MVP candidate, the favorite to win the MVP, had a bonkers season similar to Lamar Jackson. These 2 guys have gone head-to-head for the award this year, but Josh Allen, bona fide stud, bona fide leader. I don't see a world in which he allows this Bills team, him and Sean McDermott, I don't see them losing to the 7 seed Broncos in the first round. Even though Denver, going into the playoffs now red hot, the offense cooking, Marvin Mims, Cortland Sutton, they look great. Their run game is lackluster, and I think that's where it might come down to bite them. I think it'll be a battle of the running games, and I give that edge to James Cook, who has a knack for finding the end zone, over that running back by committee Denver backfield, who has largely struggled and been largely underutilized. But the positives for the Broncos, according to Pro Football Network, they are the top offensive line. 6th in pressures, 3rd in sack rate. They are 6th in pass protection, according to the 33rd team. This is an offensive line that has a bunch of hogs up front, blocking for Bo Nix, giving him time and space to create success. 21 touchdowns to 6 picks over the last 8 games is nothing to laugh at. He's got 12 picks total on the season with 3 fumbles. If Bo Nix can lower the turnovers and be clean in this game and have no turnovers, that'll give them the best shot. But I think if Terrell Bernard is a go, him and Matt Milano roaming the middle of that field with this Bills secondary, and I think the Bills will get pressure on Bo Nix despite the fact that their offensive line is so great. I think that they will pressure him enough to where he will try to do too much and make a boneheaded decision and throw an interception or have a fumble. I think that that's where Josh Allen will capitalize, because if you're Denver, you have to play a clean game against this Buffalo offense. You cannot give them more opportunities than they are allotted. But I am taking Josh Allen and this Buffalo Bills offense to overcome Bo Nix and the Broncos. I think it'll be a real close one, but I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills in this one because I do not see them losing in the first round. This is a determined group. I don't see them losing to the Broncos. The next game, the 4:30 game between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. My team, obviously, as you can see, Green Bay coming in as a 7 seed, had a chance to avoid this, but they couldn't beat the Bears. Philadelphia, the 2 seed. Jalen Hurts hasn't played since week 16. 14-3 Philly. The thing is, and this is where it comes down to, you have to neutralize Saquon Barkley. We saw in last year's divisional, the Packers' one goal had to be to neutralize Christian McCaffrey. They did so until about the middle of the third quarter when he broke that 39-yard rushing touchdown. Now for the Packers in that game, they pretty much had that game, but it came down to the offense's deficiencies. They were 2 for 5 in the red zone. You cannot have that against this Philly team. 34-29. They fell to the Eagles in week 1. That's when Love messed up his MCL in that game. That was in Brazil. I think that's an outlier. I think these teams match up well against one another, but the problem here for the Packers is they're going to have to overcome injury. We got the news that Christian Watson is done for the year with a torn ACL suffered against the Bears. Jair Alexander with the PCL is not going to be eligible to play until the Super Bowl, pretty much, if the Packers get that far. Evan Williams hopefully will suit up. He's been banged up and out for the last few weeks. This is a secondary that has had to overcome a lot. This is now an offense without their most explosive playmaker in Christian Watson. Jordan Love kind of messed up his elbow against the Bears. I think that he will be a full go, though, for that game against them on Sunday. But this game is going to come down to neutralizing Saquon Barkley. If you can get that done as the Packers, I think you have a good shot. This is the youngest team in the league. We saw last year everybody counted Green Bay out against the Cowboys in Dallas in the first round. They took care of the Cowboys in blowout fashion. And they damn near beat the 49ers if it weren't for the lack of ability to execute in the red zone. They got to neutralize Saquon, which is a tall task. Playing with no Jair, having to go up against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith is not going to be easy. Initially, when I was doing my prep for this, I was like, you know what? I'll go with the Eagles here. It's, a logical pick given the injuries that the Green Bay has to deal with. But this is a resilient Packers team. This is a Packers team whose only losses outside of the Bears are against some of the top dogs in the NFC, including the Eagles. And I understand that, but I think that this Packers team has a lot to prove, and they want to prove to people that they can beat the good teams. I'm going to go with a huge upset. They did it last year. Everybody counted them out against Dallas. Everybody counted them out against San Francisco. They proved people wrong against Dallas, and they damn near beat the 49ers in that game. I think that Jordan Love, second full year under center, he knows what is at stake, and I think LaFleur is going to outcoach Nick Sirianni, and the Packers are going to win this game. That's the hot take from all my picks. That's probably the hottest take and the biggest upset. But let's move on to the 8 p.m. game because we got Baker and the Bucs, red hot Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers against Jaden Daniels, the offensive rookie of the year, in my opinion, by a long shot, and the Commanders. 12-5 Washington, coming in as the 6 seed, facing the Tampa Bay Bucs, who are the 3 seed at 10-7. They'll be playing in Tampa Bay. You got Washington and Jaden Daniels, who has 4 game-winning drives this season. Week 2 against the Giants. He did it week 8 in that Hail Mary against the Bears, which was epic. Week 16 in a gigantic statement victory over the Philadelphia Eagles on the final play. And then in overtime against Atlanta in Week 17. Hopefully they have Tyler Biadasz, their starting center, for this game, because that is going to mean a lot when it comes down to Washington and that offensive line, who has been largely phenomenal this year. Top 5 unit in the league. They need Biadasz to be a go. He's dealing with an ankle injury. Hopefully he is a go. Cornelius Lucas, their starting tackle, also has been banged up as of late. He needs to be a go. This offensive line needs to do big things up front for Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders have shown you that they are battle tested. They can win games when they look to be down and out. They're a very young team, and what the Commanders have done in the offseason with regards to bringing in Dan Quinn and bringing in Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt Jr., this has been phenomenal for the Commanders, and they are a team. They are a force to be reckoned with. I think that their Achilles heel is their rush defense. They allow the 3rd most rushing yards per game. When you're going up against the explosive Bucky Irving, that is not going to be easy to stop him. They have to slow him down if they want success. With that being said, I'm taking the Commanders in this game. I think Jaden Daniels is going to overcome the blitz-happy schemes of Todd Bowles and company, and I think the Commanders are going to pull this one out in a shootout. I think it might even come down to another game-winning drive for Jaden Daniels, the rookie, and the Commanders. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, and McMillan. McMillan has been outstanding for this Buccaneers offense, as has Bucky Irving. Rachaad White, the receiving threat. But I think that this will be a shootout. This will be a duel. And I'm going to take the Commanders to beat the Bucs in a very, very close game. What say you guys? We got one more game. Stay with me. We got that Monday game. Stay with me.
Oh my goodness, what a play!
And finally, the Monday night game. We have a clash between the Minnesota Vikings, the 5 seed, 14-3 record against the LA Rams, 10-7, who are the 4 seed. So they host them. McVay versus O'Connell. I'm going to take an upset, baby. I'm going with the LA Rams. I think Sean McVay and this battle-tested Rams team, McVay himself being battle-tested in terms of the playoffs, he's been in it for a while now. He's a Super Bowl champ. 2021, they went through a gauntlet versus Kevin O'Connell, who is the less experienced head coach. 2022, his first season with the Vikings, he lost to the Giants, Daniel Jones and the Giants, in that first round in 2022. I think that this game is going to come down to the Rams pressuring Darnold and getting in his face, because we saw when Aaron Glenn and the Detroit Lions dialed it up against Darnold this past weekend, it did not look good. Darnold did not look good. And if you get Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, Kobe Turner in there and after the quarterback, really good things will happen for this Rams team. I think that they will get after Sam Darnold and neutralize the Vikings offense and get it done. They have shown you that they can go up and put up points. Contrary to the last few weeks, Week 14, 44-42 victory over Buffalo. That shootout game. They're riding high. Prior to the loss that they had against Seattle, which was, they didn't need that game, so they didn't really care because they were already locked in. And they had, Jimmy G starting. Before that, they were on a 5-game winning streak, taking names. So this is a red-hot Rams team overall as of late that is going to get after it against this Minnesota Vikings team. Rob Havenstein is expected to play, their right tackle. Stafford gets the ball out in 2.4 seconds or less. 2.4 seconds, 4th quickest in the National Football League. This offensive line has been awesome. The 6th-round rookie out of Arkansas, Bo Limmer, has been the center that the Rams would hope that he would be. This guy looks like a generational piece. Now, I understand the ranks. Their defense is not the best by any stretch. Total defense per Fox Sports, they're 26th in the league. And points per game, they're 20th offensively, putting up 21.6 points per game. Against the run, they're going to have to deal with Aaron Jones. They're 22nd in rush defense. But again, this is a Rams team with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and Kyron Williams having the baller season that he has had. This is an offense that can go up against the best, and they are here to stick around. I think that if they can get pressure, this young pass rush, if they can get pressure on Darnold, that'll be the key. Darnold has had an amazing season, and Kevin O'Connell is largely to blame for that, or largely to credit for that, I should say. But I think that I just have an inclination that McVay is going to do some dialing up, and he is going to outcoach O'Connell, and the Rams are going to win this one. Who do you guys have winning each and every one of these games from Saturday to Monday? I want your picks in the comment section below. So now it's presently constituted. After my picks, you take a look here in the divisional round. I got Green Bay at Detroit, Washington at LA, and in the AFC, I got the Chargers at the Chiefs, and Baltimore at Buffalo, which, if that happens, will be a game of epic proportions between the two top-tier MVP candidates. This is going to be a hell of a playoffs. I am locked in, and I am ready, baby. What do you guys think? Drop your comments in the comment section below.